Hello everyone, this is Wolf1 and I'm back with another Guardians of Harmony toy review after a very brief hiatus last week to discuss King Ghidorah from the Bandai Creations line. If you did not see that, I did that because, well, basically they're at Walmart right now and I wanted to get that on the out there so if people didn't know about it, they would know about it. But anyway, we're moving on to the next figure, which I will admit is probably my favorite of the ones that I have, Applejack. And it's not because Applejack's my favorite character, she is one of my favorites, like I do really like Applejack, but because she's just probably one of the better put together figures in this line. Which is saying something because the line is actually pretty good, except for Twilight's inexplicable unpainted range face. But anyway, let's get on to her right now, take a quick look at her. She is very well painted. That is definitely Applejack, and that's a fitting expression for her. And they all use the same base body with different tails and heads, and hers is a bit, stand out because, of course, she has the ponytail. And, the actual ponytail done up in a ponytail. Ponytailception. But, yeah, and like the others, she's a bit asymmetrical compared to how she's in the show, so on this side she doesn't have it, but due to how her hair looks, she looks pretty good. Of course, no cutie mark on this side, unfortunately. Very nicely detailed for the hair, and she even does have her little freckles, which I do like that she has those. Give her a bit of uniqueness to her, and of course she has her cutie mark, the 3 red apples. Which I wish were on both sides, but at least on her it looks a bit... It's on the side that her accessory is meant to go on, so it kind of fits, and it's on the side that her hair is, so she comes off a little better than some of them do. As for articulation, same as all the others. Full range of motion in the shoulder, elbow bend, both directions, which is actually helpful, and swivel above the knee. The hind legs can move full 360. Head is on a series of hinges that allow for universal movement. She has the advantage of having this that covers it. I'll get to that in a bit. Basically, yeah, she has all the articulation the others have, and she actually can, and for her that is especially nice because there are some poses that she can get into that do suit her, especially once she gets her accessories come into play. I have her posed like this. I know I can pose her like this because this is how I have her displayed on my shelf. So, come on, cooperate with me, Applejack. Don't be a silly pony, or I'll have to probably start playing the silly pony music. But yeah, she can do that, which when combined with some of her accessories makes for some really nice poses. And of course, she is one that rears up on her hind legs a good bit due to the whole rodeo aspect, so that is fitting that she can do that. But yeah, I like her. Like, in terms of just look, she probably pulls off of her look the best because, well, cutie mark and hair in the way it is in the show is on the same side, so, she looks a bit better than some of the others do. Now, onto accessories, we already see 3 of them. Of course, she has her hat. She would not be Applejack without her hat. The hat does come off. I don't like... okay, I'll take it off. But as you can see, she just has normal hair underneath it. And it is a tiny bit of a trick to get it back on. Because basically, you got to get these 2 little notches to go in over her ears to get it on her. But once it's on her, it looks really good. And, of course, she's Applejack. She has to have her hat. That's like her thing. Well, one of her things. She has many things, all of which are cool. But I like that she has a hat. Whether, you wanted to pretend this is her dad's hat or whatever. Which I think they did say that it was in the Christmas special that they did. The Heartwarming gift special. I think they did mention that it was her father's, or her father has some influence on her wearing hats. Or just one of her random hats that apparently she wears, because one of them got mulched in an episode, and apparently that wasn't her father's hat, apparently. But I don't know. That whole situation is kind of a weird conundrum, but that's how I justify it, is that she just travels with a spare hat, because she knows she might get it destroyed. But, Anyway, also, and oh yeah, her tail's on a ball joint just like everyone else's, and the curvature that her tail has does lend itself a bit more to, like, action poses, which I do like. But yeah, she has a hat. An accessory that's not in the show is this bandana. I want to say she wore one like it in at least at some point. My mind is saying it is, but that might just be the Mandela effect. But I like it, actually. I think it actually looks really good on her. Like, it goes with her. So, yeah, I like that she comes with this bandana. It's not an uncommon accessory for her in the show, but it fits her very well and actually looks pretty good. And it has the added advantage of covering up her neck joint without really hindering the articulation all that much because it turns with it. So you get the full range of motion that everyone else does, and you don't have to look at the joint that reminds you she's a toy. Which is weird. Which, joints on organic characters are always weird, and this is what I meant, is that the hat can be a little bit of a pain. It stays on very well once it's on there, but it can be a bit of a pain to get on it. So, yeah, nice accessory. I do approve of this. I wouldn't mind seeing her wear a bandana like this in the show, because it actually fits her motif very well. And lastly, well, not lastly, next you'll notice this brace on her leg. This is removable. But she comes packaged with it on, and I see no reason not to keep it on. It's, kind of looks like a bit of a leather brace, which I don't think it would be leather, because of course, sapient cattle, unless there's some weird thing where cattle sell the skin of their deceased loved ones or something, which got really dark. Yeah, but I actually have heard some fanfics do that, and it's not as dark in those fanfics, but anyway, it has some nice detailing on it. Like, you can see rivets holding it in. Wish they were painted, but, I mean, you can see the rivets holding together. It fits her aesthetic. Like, it does kind of fit her aesthetic, but the reason she has that, and I'm actually checking the box to see if it's on the box that it's painted or not, because sometimes they do that. But no, it's not painted on the box. Is, one, it looks cool. Like, that genuinely does look cool. I like it. And two is this accessory, which it doesn't look all that impressive at first glance, but it is it looks like it's made out of metal, riveted together. Simple, but a interesting little accessory. And basically, it can tab into the side of this, which can give the appearance of a blaster or something, I guess. It's not what it is for, but you can pretend it is one. And due to how it is set up, you can turn it around so she can stand with it, retracted, which is useful. And the reason she has that is because she also has a lasso. Very appropriate Applejack accessory. I approve of it. And it's actually pretty nicely detailed. Let me put my hand here. It definitely looks like it's made out of rope. The color choice, maybe they should have made it a little bit of more brownish. But, she's Applejack. A lasso is kind of her default fighting accessory. So, yeah. And it actually goes on a lot easier than some of the others, and she has the advantage of it actually aligns to her foreleg properly. So she can actually look like she's using it. So, yeah, that is an advantage. And she can pose on her hind legs with it there. So, yeah, that's one problem, is that doesn't attach all that securely. But you can actually pose her like doing a, pose where she's preparing to lasso someone. If you line everything up right, just so. There you go. Which, yeah, I like that. I like that she can do that. But, of course, well, one, that's a really nice accessory. But, of course, that's not all it does. And it does actually show in the package that it's meant to do that, which I like that you have the option. But if you tab then this device back into her leg, and there goes her hat again, that is one thing. Her hat can pop off, but if you're just messing around with parts of her that aren't touching the hat, she typically doesn't have a problem with it. Yeah, I know I am being very peculiar about her having the hat on, but she's Applejack. She's supposed to. Okay, you know what? That'll do for now. But yeah, basically, you attach that to her foreleg, and this tabs into it, like so, And now she has a bit of a mechanized thing, and if you swivel this wheel on the side, it does. Okay, that due to how loose the connection can be, that this feature doesn't work the best. And I would suggest, and there it goes onto the ground. I would highly suggest having her braced when you're doing this in some way. It's not the most effective thing, but if you get it in there right, you can have it look like she's twirling it in preparation to throw it out, which I appreciate. And the thing is, it's an optional accessory, so you don't have to use it if you don't want to, and it kind of looks cool just being on her wrist and pretending it's whatever you want it to be, because she is your toy. You play with her how you wish, so long as you're not Sid and blow up your toys, because that would be cruel. Okay, not really, but seriously, you shouldn't blow up your toys because people bought, either you or someone else paid good money for them, and it's not really a good idea. Then I'm a toy collector, so I'm against the destruction of toys. Anyway, that's her basic accessories, and I like all of them. That's the reason she's my favorite of the ones I've got, because I don't have any real problem with any of her accessories except for this being a bit loose on her leg. But I'm sure you could tighten that up by applying some nail polish or something to this. Lastly, we of course do have her symbol, which is appropriately an apple tree. An apple branches with a golden apple on a heart and a plank more or less in the center. Very fitting for the character. I approve. This looks pretty dang cool. And lastly, of course, is she does have a background, but her background is a bit weird and not wanting to cooperate with me right now. It's one of those weird ones where I get the feeling that... Okay, come on. This is not wanting to work right now. Give me 1 second. Jeez, what was wrong with that getting stuck? But anyway, yeah, she does have a background, and it actually is kind of cool, because if you look closely, you can make out the outlines of characters in there. So it's like a big group shot in the background, which is basically a continuation of the same group shot that's at the top. Problem is, it's not very visible. I honestly did not realize until before this review that wasn't even there. So, there you go. The weird part is, if you look on the back of the box, it has her with a backdrop in Sweet Apple Acres, which would be much more appropriate for her. So, I don't know why they changed that. That is weird. So, yeah, she's kind of gets skimped on a good background, but everything else about her I really like. Applejack is a really good figure in this line, and again, my favorite. So it goes without saying that I highly recommend her. That, and she's Applejack. She's kind of awesome to have. If you get Rainbow Dash, you kind of gotta get Applejack because of the rivalry they have. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye! I still don't have a catchphrase.